Thank you to our sponsor, Ayana. With over 100 EV charging locations now open to customers, Ayana is reimagining what public charging should be in the US. Reliable, fast, and easy to use. Every Ayana rechargery is built with the customer in mind. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me here in Colorado, I'll talk about that in a second, with this, our long-term Lucid Gravity Grand Touring. And I have our first update for you guys. We've had the car for about a week and a half, something like that, and we've put already 1,500 miles on our Lucid Gravity, and I've found some really good things and some really bad things, and I'll give you the initial impression of how it's been going with our long-term Lucid Gravity. If you guys remember last week or the week before, you joined me in California when we picked this car up at Lucid's headquarters, and they let us spec this car and live with it for many months to basically give you guys a real ownership experience of what it's like to have one of the coolest electric SUVs on sale. Certainly one of the best road tripping, one of the best handling. It really seems like on paper that it should do everything really well. But in the past, when we've tested Gravities, we've run into software bugs and glitches and problems that prevented us from really doing everything we wanted to do with the car. So then we spec'd this thing and we have it for a number of months. And in this episode, I'm going to give you our first update of many to come, I'm sure, of how it's going with our Lucid Gravity Grand Touring. So this is our 2027 Lucid Gravity Grand Touring. I spec'd this car and walked you through everything that we did in the previous initial update. It's spec'd in the full range configuration right now. We've gone for the 5-seat configuration instead of the 7. That was a mistake on my part, but we do have tons of cargo room, which is actually coming in handy because I do have to bring a few things back from the West Coast, which I'll show you here in this episode. I think you guys will enjoy that. And we have it on the range wheel and tire for the big road trip to start, and it's been fairly efficient. I'll give you an update on our efficiency so far, but we do have the big wheels and tires, the performance ones, that'll be at the track when we get over there. Come on up front, let me show you what it looks like up this way. Andreas behind the camera, how's it going?
Pretty good, how are you?
Doing well. You are a Lucid Gravity fanboy.
I love the Lucid Gravity, yeah. It's such a road tripper, and it's so comfortable, and yeah, I could just see myself driving this for thousands and thousands of miles without.
And that's what I'm doing this week.
Yep.
So we picked this up. We spec'd it white on white, and you know, the plan for this car really is to do as much as possible within the 6 to 12 months that Lucid lets us borrow it, and we're already doing that. So I think just a recap on what we've done with this so far. We picked up our 2027 Gravity. This is the Grand Touring package, has the big 123, 124 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's like 920 something volts. It's way the heck up there. It's awesome. And we, Alex and I drove it from the Bay Area, Northern California, down to Los Angeles for the Model Y L event. And we actually left it at LAX in a parking garage. I didn't realize that, but it was almost $500 to leave it at LAX for like, I think 8 days.
Wow. Okay.
That was crazy. I came back and I was like, whoa, that is insane. So airport parking, I like the parking spot, but they charged a lot of money there. Nice thing was they had charging there, so I was actually able to juice it up to 100 on level 2, kind of top balance the battery pack. I, of course, didn't leave it sitting for 8 days at 100%. I actually kept it at 80. And then as I took off on the plane to head to the West Coast, bumped her up to a hundo. And then we drove all around Southern California when we landed back in. Scott and I flew to Southern California. And the reason we left the Gravity out there was because of what's in the back seat right there.
Oh, what is in the back seat?
I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit on that. We'll definitely introduce what's in the back seat in the crate here in a minute, but I want to continue talking about the car real quick. So we spent a day cruising around Southern California in this thing, just going, Orange County up to LA. We saw Scott's sister in Hollywood area, and then started on our road trip back across the country. And essentially we drove from LA to St. George, Utah, from St. George, Utah to Aspen the next day. This was yesterday. We spent the whole day at in Aspen, Colorado. This thing went over 12,000 feet of elevation from sea level all the way up. And then we had to, of course, come down from the top of the hill. We calculated from the Eisenhower Tunnel down into Denver, we would get 2,700 miles of range out of this car.
That's the range I need.
Yeah, that's when Lucid says they have a lot of range, you know, they're not lying. 2,700 miles is pretty good.
Yeah.
Although Colton somehow found he could get 11,000 miles out of his EV9.
Oh, wow.
So maybe we weren't as efficient as we thought we were going to be. But we used 1.4% to go 38 miles.
That is insane.
Yeah, you just need to crest the tunnel at 0 and you'll make it home.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so cool being out here in the mountains. So obviously that's a little bit of a joke, but yeah. Obviously, the range and charging have not been a problem so far on our trip, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I will get into the pros and cons because we've learned that there are some incredible things about this car. But just as a bit of a background information on Gravity in general, my impression of Gravity has always been fairly positive. We went through the Lucid Air saga, I guess we could call it, with my dad's Lucid Air Grand Touring, test cars, and we even had a long-termer from Lucid for about 6 months. Do you remember our brown Lucid Air, Andreas?
That's right, yeah.
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 And they had improved that car massively from the point where it was truly frustrating to live with. You know, Lucid came in with setting expectations incredibly high because it was supposed to be the engineer's car, you know, huge range, huge efficiency, great driving dynamics, and all of that is largely true. And in those specific domains, the Air was an incredible car. It was incredible on the road trip for the single charge distance. It was incredible to drive aggressively and have fun. You know, even on track, the Air has been good, and we've shown that with Sapphire on our channel. The problem with the Lucid Air is, as a total package, it kind of falls apart, especially in the early cars. There was bugs, there's weird clicky stuff when you move the seats around, like the position's weird, the headlights make noise. That's the one I always come back to because I just think it's crazy that they do that. Actually, this Gravity has that fixed. I haven't noticed the headlights screaming in this one, but our last Gravity that we took on the Eastern Edge, that still made annoying
that had a noise,
headlight noise.
That's right.
There's like a little ECU driver, or one of the Lucid engineers' theory was it may have been the ambient lighting in the door.
Oh, interesting.
Like that could have been, because, you know, that kicks on when the lights come on, that
Right.
it has this sort of high frequency emitting sound. Regardless, this one hasn't bothered me yet, and I have a pretty sensitive ear to stuff like that. And so, you know, we followed the Air's progress of getting better. And then there was the promise of the Gravity, to say, okay, our first act, they did a few things really better than anyone in the industry, but as a total package, they clearly were lagging behind. Just the repeatability and, I don't know, less bugginess of the Germans, or even, you know, brands like Tesla. We all had very high expectations for Gravity, and then it seemed to just have problem after problem after problem. Production issues, software issues, a lot of over-promising and under-delivering with this car, which I think really left kind of, you know, what could have been, you know, we could have forgiven Lucid for their first model having some bugs at launch. Then Gravity came and we were all like, oh, come on, we can't go through this again. So they've completely reorganized the entire company now, Andreas. Have you seen some of those headlines?
Yep.
New CEO, new executive team, new processes. I mean, it feels like a completely different company.
Yeah, it caused a lot of headlines and discussions online.
Yeah. And then, of course, they've had this car out for 2 model years, the Gravity. So they've gone through a complete restructure in the company multiple times over, it almost feels like. A lot of fresh faces in there. And then they had the chance to dial this car in. Apparently, they felt it's at the point where it's good enough to really get it out there on the internet. So they let me spec one, and I spec'd this car, and that's what we're doing. And I have to say, before I get through the whole video, I really think they're doing a good job. Because I haven't, other than a few, there are problems, and I'll walk you through them, like little build quality. Listen, just the way panels fit and kind of rattle on the outside. I've got some issues around the car, which Colton will really talk about. And there's some driver assistance bugs. But the car feels so much more sorted than even the last time we had a Gravity. Now, keep in mind, we're only 1,500 miles in of a lot more to come, of course. But, genuinely, it does feel like they've been doing something in that time when they really woke up and they're like, whoa, the launch of Gravity wasn't good. We've got to make this better. This feels genuinely better. And we'll go through pros and cons and stuff. Now, I want to just make a quick introduction. About a month ago, I introduced you to our new Bernese Mountain Dog, Ruby. She's a 6-year-old, great dog. I know some of you are car people and don't care about this, but this ties into the story. And in the video that I made introducing Ruby on my personal channel, I said, look, we applied to one breeder. We thought it was going to be like a 1 to 2 year wait. We may not even get accepted for the dog. We got so lucky. Ruby fell into our lap and we were happy and we love her and she's great. And she really is an awesome dog. The day after we got Ruby, the breeder called and said, oh, surprise, we're having puppies and you're selected for one. And of course, we can't say no. And they were in Southern California. They were in Orange County. So now we went from having 0 Bernese Mountain Dogs to 2 within a very short period of time. So part of the Gravity's initial test is how does it work as a dog hauler, and not just any dog hauler, a puppy hauler. I'll introduce you to Oslo, but before we do that, you can take a look on the screen. We have Creature Comfort enabled, which is one of the best features about the Gravity, and it ties into some of our positives on the car, which is the HVAC system in this thing, Andreas. Cold and blows tons of air.
Yeah, kind of likes it cold.
Yeah, I love a great air conditioning system, and this thing definitely has it. Should we introduce Oslo really quick?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Oslo just in his crate chilling. He's waking up from a nap right now. He's still very much a puppy. We're bringing him home to see Ruby and Kona. And, oh, sorry, dude. And this is him.
Hello, Oslo. Welcome to Autospec Reviews.
Yeah, first time on YouTube, bud.
All right.
And back to sleep.
Back to chilling.
He is a little peopled out. We had him out in Aspen yesterday. We kind of had to tell people, sorry, dude. Sorry, folks. We can't quite pet him. Because he's just a baby. So I will tell you this, he loves the Gravity, dude. He wants, anytime we get him out of the car to pee or whatever, I don't know how he came pre-installed potty trained, but he hasn't had any problems yet.
Yeah.
We let him out, he pees, we put him back
Great
in.
firmware.
Yeah, he's just, really good software firmware installed on this one. And that was kind of the idea. We lost Ellie, my golden retriever, very suddenly. And so we obviously looked into rescuing first. That's how we ended up with Ruby. But we also looked into trying to give ourselves the best chances with a well-bred dog. And we found actually a YouTuber and a very, as I am with EVs, they are with Bernese Mountain Dogs, and it just felt right. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to send it. So maybe sent it a little too hard here because now we got 2 of these things at home, but no complaints. You are super cool, and I'm going to put you back in line with the air vents right there. And then we'll get him strapped in for the drive later on. So that's Oslo. Why did we name him Oslo? Because he reminds me of the city. He is sturdy and calm and has that Viking character to him.
I love the name, Oslo.
Back to the Gravity. Positives first. This car eats up the miles. Absolutely. You get this thing on the highway, and it's got amazing triple chamber air suspension. We've spec'd the dynamic handling pack on this, so that comes with rear steer, sort of titanium or gold colored brake calipers, which you can't really see on the aero wheels that well. And just this unbelievably nice ride quality. That's not to say it's the smoothest thing on the road, but it doesn't feel disconnected. Even when you have it set to the softest possible squishiest suspension, which truly is how I've been driving it because we have a puppy in the car. I haven't even gone past 25% throttle this whole trip. You hit a bump once and you're done. None of this big porpoise and body motions like we get with our Rivian R1S, which Scott loves, and it's still a great car. But because you take out all the off-road capability that the Rivian needs to have, this on-road driving character is, it's maybe better than Cayenne, dude.
It's definitely up there, yeah.
Cayenne with active ride would be an interesting comparison. But I would say this versus the Cayenne we had on just base air suspension, this is pretty amazing. It also feels like a longer car, so it's got a little bit more room to work with. It's much bigger inside, and maybe not the most comparable, but I think they are. Okay, so highway cruising, also noise. This is so quiet. It's not as quiet as Cayenne. It's not as quiet as like an i7, but I got in your Highland Model 3 yesterday, which I've always assumed is like a generally quiet car. They've really, Tesla's done a lot on noise improvements over the years. And I was like, whoa, I can't even hear myself think in this thing. I'm so used to this sound package, which I totally never gave this car enough credit for being so quiet and so refined for the highway cruise. Andreas, you've spent some time in this car now. What's your impression on the highway?
I love it. The first thing I've noticed is you get up to like 80 miles an hour, of course, an 80-mile-an-hour highway, and it doesn't feel like it. It's like, oh, I'm probably going 60, but no, you're up to 80 already because it's so quiet, you don't feel the speed. And it's so comfortable. Suspension is amazing. Yeah, you don't feel any potholes. Actually, you do feel the potholes, but in a good way.
Right, like you know that stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Right, you feel totally connected, but also nothing is harsh.
Exactly. So that's what I've noticed after driving it after the Eastern Edge for a bit. I kind of wanted to hit potholes because it's kind of, I like hitting bumps here and there. It's very satisfying in a weird way. So, and this car is perfect when it comes to that. So yeah, initial impressions, great car, very quiet, feels very premium. I had the same experience getting back into my Model 3 Highland. Felt a little bit like a step backward, which pains me to say. It's also, way less money. But
of course, significant and a totally different class of car.
Exactly,
but I just, Model 3 Highland, we've always given a lot of praise to like Tesla really coming a long way compared to the previous generation. And you get into this and you're like, oh yeah, that money is going somewhere.
Exactly, yeah.
And it should. Like that's not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise, but it is just such a high quality motoring experience driving this. The other thing I want to give a lot of credit for, because we've been using this on a trip, right? We've had friends with us, you've come with us, we've had the dog, all the stuff that comes along with that, all of our stuff that we have to pack in the car. Look how much space there is.
Yeah.
90-degree opening door, doesn't get enough credit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That is really nice. These shades, really nice. I do have like little nitpicks here and there that we can talk about maybe later on, but I don't like that you use the same switch to control the shade as the window. Because everything is so quiet, you sometimes hit the window down and the shade goes down, but the window doesn't go down.
Oh, interesting.
So I get a little confused and you've always got to look back to see what you're hitting. I wish I could just say shades down, window down separately. Regardless, this is super low. Everything about getting in and out of the car is a perfect height. And then just so much room. I'll show you guys back here. I did have this car set to auto dump the suspension every time I put it in park, which is how it is now in lowest. It looks great when you slam it all the way out. You can also have it set to go all the way up. But we ran into a couple issues with that. The first is, it genuinely is so low, which I really appreciate, that when you open the door, it scrapes on curbs.
Oh.
It's like a sports car.
Yeah.
So Scott, actually one time we got out of the car, right? Closed the door and then it auto lowered. And then we couldn't get back in on that side.
Yeah.
So I had to raise the car back up for her to get back in. So that was like, okay, kind of annoying. The second thing is this. I love how much room there is to get in, and I love this super low loading height. I mean, genuinely, this is just awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing comes close in the electric world on loading height. I mean, it is like minivan in even better loading height.
Very convenient.
And even in the lowest setting, I'm 6'1", I can pretty much stand under here. But under here, look at this. It slopes down, and both Scott and myself on multiple occasions have slammed the absolute SHIT out of our heads to the point where she had a migraine for a day. I think she whacked on this thing right here, which actually has a little rubber stop on it, but just wham!
Is SHIT an acronym or something?
That's a great joke. This is Andreas trying to make the audience laugh. It's great. So even in normal suspension, which is how I typically have the car set now, which makes it look really stupid because you've got all that wheel gap in the wheel well. Even then, you'll whack your head on the side. So it is nice that there's such a wide opening, but I actually think it would have been worth the design trade-off to have the trunk open here and then a separate piece for the sides. Because then you would at least not hit your head as much. Because when you close the car, you can see just how much of a clamshell this is. You'll also notice the latch makes a ton of noise when closing. Take a listen. It's unpremium.
But also kind of satisfying.
No, it sounds broken. They all sound like that. But could they not have just had the trunk go to here? And it would have added more parts, right?
Yeah, I'm generally not a fan. Like Audi started this back with the Q3, where the taillights opened up with the trunk. Mm-hmm. That was my first criticism about the Highlander Model 3 as well. It just looks so weird with this black.
Latch doesn't sound good.
Like with this area, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan. It looks so weird. I know it's.
It doesn't need to look good with the trunk open.
I know,
but that's kind of. This clamshell thing has really proven to be a little bit annoying. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, the space, the usability, I mean, it's wonderful. I've got to put a few things in here from the hub. It won't even be filled to the brim. The practicality is great. I haven't towed with this one yet, but I have a whole towing review, and I will tow with this one quite a bit. This car is actually going to be used as a tow rig fairly often. So let's talk about some other positives. Charging has been really good on this car, Andreas.
NACS.
It has the NACS port, which it can do AC and DC fast charging on NACS. It's crazy we have to say that, but so many cars launching now can't. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, I think misses the whole point of what customers are looking for. So it can do 80 amp AC charging, which I actually have an 80 amp AC charger here at the hub, which I could plug in, but that I have it set incorrectly where it needs to be connected to the internet, and I took the internet off of here, and it's in this infinite loop. Otherwise, I would be 80 amp charging. And then charging on DC charging power, the car claims up to 420 kilowatts when it's in the correct zone. The preconditioning logic has gotten a lot better with the Gravity, which means it's predictively cooling the battery for high power stations or warming up, depending on what's needed. Mostly cooling because it's been triple digits. And we have seen some really great charging performance on this car, but not quite 400 kilowatts yet.
Okay.
I actually haven't been optimizing our stops around the car's performance. I've been optimizing our stops around Oslo's performance.
Oslo.
Which means we'll even get to a supercharger, which is a low voltage charging station, most, V3, V4 dispenser stations. And this has to step up the voltage, and it's limited at 225 kilowatts. The nice thing is, because it doesn't do split pack, it actually uses the rear motor and inverter to step up the voltage. It just sits at 225 kilowatts all the way through. But I mean, I've done more time sitting at charging stations at like superchargers getting up to over 90% just because we're taking him for a walk and we're doing stuff. So at no point has the range or charging impacted our trip whatsoever. We've been overcharging every stop, and we've had so much range that we keep stopping early, and we may, since we're on a road trip, we're like, well, we may as well pull in somewhere. You guys will see that in the out of spec motoring road trip coming up soon. Another thing that has been really great is just the interior cabin space up front. Super comfortable seats, great heating, great cooling. Can't say enough good things about how great this cabin is to be in. And again, we had this thing in the desert in the middle of 110 degree Fahrenheit temperature. We stayed nice and cool in this car. We do have the accessory shades that go in the top on both. They're inside, if you can show everyone up there. So those are kind of snap-in shades. That made a big difference, and I can't say enough good things about the climate control system and the Gravity, which I could not say about the Air. This thing stays an ice cube, which the little mountain dog loves, stays frozen the whole time. So I think most people kind of get the idea. The road trip character, the ride quality, the charging, it's all been totally well. During our first charging stop, we actually overheated the boosting capability of the car. I don't know if it was the battery pack or the rear motor, but we were sitting at like 120 kilowatts on a supercharger. It was also deep into the triple digits. So not 100% sure what our limit was. But again, we had the dog and we charged up to well over 90% because we weren't in a rush. We'll do a lot more charging stress testing later on in our coverage. So a lot of good to say there. Also, I have to give Lucid a lot of props. The key works. The key card, haven't needed to use it yet. This is unlocked and locked every time we've come up to the car, which was a real problem before. I remember being stuck in a parking lot in a Gravity for like 20 minutes trying to get it to turn on. And in that sense, it feels like it's actually functioning as a car now. So those are the positives.
That's important.
Any other positives from your side before we get to what's been going wrong?
No, we've covered, I think, the driving dynamics, which are very positive. There's still a few bugs I've noticed connecting the phone to Bluetooth.
Well, we're going to get into that because I've got some bugs.
Right, yeah. But
positive-wise?
Positive, I mean, I love the car. I would want to own one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matrix headlights now. Did you get to see those last night?
I mean, I guess, but I didn't notice them.
Yeah, this actually has full adaptive driving beam now.
Yeah, you said it's way smoother. You can't really tell
Yeah, it's super
when
smooth.
they transition. Yeah.
I don't think they're as bright as some other cars on the high beam. I've got to play around with it when we get it out to the country in North Carolina. We've been in like populated, California and Utah, whatever, at nighttime. So, problems. Let's start at a couple small bugs that I've noticed, and then we'll work our way up to the big problems.
Okay.
Because there are some big problems, unfortunately. But it wouldn't be a Lucid review without them. At least that's my impression so far. I really hope they can get it all together at some point in the future. They feel like they're so close. So, Andreas, can you hop here in the driver's seat? I'll jump over to the passenger side.
Yep.
Let's chat about some bugs. So, 0 issues with the cabin climate or creature comfort mode. This has been working great. It's been keeping the rear vents on for a little Oslo. Hi, dude.
Right, buddy?
He's been loving it. He likes the fan blasting. The software has not bugged out on me at all, in the sense where the screens load up quickly. You can go right there, right here. This all works great. The estimation on arrival has been like decently accurate, but not totally perfect. But of course, I've been altering our speed, so there's only so much you can ask for from the car. And in general, the software package has been working well, except for when I'm trying to search for a city. So like we're here in Fort Collins, right? Let's say I want to go look at I-70. It tells me every single peak of the mountains, right? But how do I tell what city I'm in?
Oh, interesting.
Like, oh, here's an airport, but like, I don't even know what towns are near here. Like, is this Glenwood Canyon? There's Grand Junction, so no, Glenwood Canyon's got to be up this way. So you have to be like at a certain zoom level, but it seems to always prioritize mountain peaks over towns, which that's a wrong prioritization.
Maybe it thinks it's an airplane.
Maybe. Also, the route planning has been fairly decent on the initial plan. So let's say I want to go to NC Car, right? So we'll put it into North Carolina at the office. Whoops, not that one. NC Car. That's funny. There's like 2 NC Cars in all of America. Oh no, maybe 3. NC Car here, the track, the office. And like one's here in Fort Collins and one's obviously at the office. So both places where we are. And route plan's fine. This is a big route plan. This is going to be like a 2,000 plus mile trip, right? And boom, look at that.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Yep.
The problem comes when you're like driving a bit too fast or you pull in a bit early. Like when it starts adapting, it's sometimes chooses the wrong station, and it sometimes forgets to precondition when it tries to put in another charger. So I've had it twice now where like we're on a trip plan, it says, oh, we're actually going to push you farther or bring you in, I can't remember what, and then it just forgets to precondition the battery.
Interesting.
So I always come here now to check on charging, and it will auto precondition, and if not, I can manually precondition, and then it'll tell me it's trying to be in this temperature zone. So for right now, based off of where it wants to go to our first stop, which is only 14 miles from now, which makes no sense. Again, it picks sometimes weird, wonky chargers.
Yeah, that does make sense.
There's chargers, like way more chargers than that around. It's going to heat the battery up, which makes sense because we're getting there at higher SOC. And it tells you what you're ready for at your current charge. So this all seems to work okay, but sometimes it just forgets to precondition it entirely. So we'll end the trip planning there. That's been a small issue I've had, where that plus the route that it takes always takes the weirdest way. Like getting to your place took us like through downtown Denver. We're like on these streets and we're like, what? We just normally take 470 over, or, blast over to you.
I noticed that last night too, because I drove it back from the
We were going to
restaurant.
dinner last night, actually, and I was in your car, and you were in this, and you turned right
Yeah.
and went the long way to the restaurant, and we beat you there.
I've never taken that on-ramp to 25 on the way home, I mean. Yeah, it was so weird. I was like, oh cool, I've never seen this road, which I don't mind, but it was also a big detour.
But so they're using Google for search, but whatever they're using for their route plan is just, you got to run Apple Maps or something in the background to double check this thing.
Yeah.
Because even when we were in LA traffic, it was sending us like all these wonky ways, and I shaved like 20 minutes off using Apple Maps. So That's kind of annoying. Another small nitpick while we're in here before I get to the big stuff is, look at the screen. It still doesn't line up. This is an expensive car. This is well over $100,000. And it's around the whole bezel.
Yeah. I think the technical term is anti-aliasing, also in gaming terms. I'm not sure if that's the same issue here, but yeah, if you see like the corners.
Yeah, but that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's always sitting in my vision. Wow. I'm always just like, damn it, why couldn't they just get that one thing
I wish
dialed
you told me, oh my god.
Yeah, once you see it, you can't unsee the jagged edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a very minor concern. It doesn't impact the usability of the car. Let's jump outside. I want to talk about the real problem here.
Okay.
Our main issue so far in our 1,500 miles of Lucid Gravity usage has been to do with the driver assistance systems. Now, there are some incredible driver assistance systems on the market, Tesla FSD being the one and only point-to-point level 2 system available in our market, and it's incredible. It's not perfect. They tried to put me into a bus stop yesterday, like a bus stop exit, not into like the wall of a bus stop, but the wrong exit. But, you know, I would expect at least competent, sorted, reliable lane centering from a tech-forward EV startup company that charges over $6,000 for their top driver assistance package. By the way, this thing is burning hot.
Oh yeah?
I think this is their LiDAR sensor. Maybe don't point the phone right at it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't need another EX90 situation. It might use a different band. I'm not sure.
Which happened right here.
Yeah, we literally fried the iPhone with EX90 here, which they removed from all of their cars now. But this one has the LiDAR right there. And feel that, Andreas.
Oh, it is hot. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's hotter than solar loading would be.
Interesting.
So that's not good for efficiency, first of all. Secondly, the driver assistance system has like not even worked in multiple ways. So the first thing that it does do, it does hands-on highway lane centering with auto lane changes reliably. So it has amazing adaptive cruise, really good adaptive cruise actually, responds nice, it doesn't freak out if someone cuts in, very smooth tuning on that. It stays in the lane most of the time, okay, with your hand on the wheel as a capacitive like old Tesla needed, but rather than putting torque in, it feels the, you know, the skin as the sensor, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, and so you just keep your hand resting on the wheel and it'll go. When you want to make a lane change, you hit the turn signal. Now that basic feature set worked perfectly until we got to Colorado. And then let me show you guys what it did.
Whoa! Oh my god!
Why did it all of a sudden decide to just stop lane centering properly?
No,
I mean, it's on lane centering. It knows where we are in the lane, and then it tries to steer, but then it just drives out of the road. Crazy. So as you can see, the lane centering that had been working really well up to that point started to just become laggy. It almost felt like maybe I'm totally speculating, but maybe like the computer overheated and it was like processing slow, or it was like in lag as to what was actually happening. But clearly the system that is designed to just keep you in the middle of the lane was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it almost felt a bit more like, you know, the ping pong lane keep assist, but it was clearly on lane centering, active lane centering. So that was a little frustrating. However, we parked the car at the hotel in Aspen for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. It probably only needed 30 minutes to reset or less. And I got back in it, and here's what happened after then. Check this out, guys. After a quick sleep of about 3 to 4 hours of the car going to bed, it's now lane centering perfectly again with no problem in significantly worse lighting conditions. Also watching the matrix lights do a thing. So very interesting that I think it just got tired and it went to sleep. It thought about life, and now it's lane centering perfectly like it had been most of our trip. So that's good. So I guess the car gets tired like human drivers. If it steers for too long, it starts doing crazy stuff. That was such an interesting bug, and it had been warm most of the drive up to that point. But again, we live on Earth. Cars need to be designed for the temperature conditions experienced here. And so there's no excuse in my book. That's a weird bug. I asked Lucid about it. They're looking into it. They'll let us know what happened. They were not immediately aware of anything like that being a problem, but clearly it was. So that was an interesting one. we have two other issues with our active steering system. The second issue comes from the sensor over in here. So behind the steering wheel is a driver monitoring sensor, DMS for short, and it's essentially eye tracking. Now, we're all fairly familiar with this in modern cars. It yells at you if you look away or you yawn, or there's a drowsiness detection and attention detection. You can turn both of those settings off, which is great because I don't like the car yelling at me unnecessarily. But it uses that same sensor for hands-free highway assistant. Now, that's pretty cool that Lucid has gotten to the point where it can, on the highway, pretty much bring you not on-ramp to off-ramp, but once you're locked in on the highway, it'll auto-choose the lane with hands-free. Now, I have not been able to experience that more than maybe a cumulative 5 or 10 miles in our 1,600 miles we've put on this car. Alex and I actually didn't even know it had hands-free until we were driving down from the Bay Area down to LA. He called me. We were in two separate cars. He's like, dude, it's hands-free lane centering and it's auto lane changing. And then it went away. We're like, oh no. So apparently there is a known bug with a select number or few number of Lucid Gravities that are affected that bricks the hands-free lane centering capability, which is such a shame because this car is affected and it's right in the middle of our cross-country road trip, which would have been so great to show you guys how cool this system could be. Because the theory is you sit there, you watch the road, you monitor, your hands are off the wheel. When you come up on a slower moving car, it will auto lane change over and then bring you back in the right lane. This morning, on the way here to shoot the video, Andreas, we got it to work. I don't know what we did.
It was a toll road, so our theory was that the toll goes to Lucid, maybe that enabled the hands-free. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it worked for like 5 miles or so. Yeah.
So we can at least insert the clip of that happening here. I should also mention we talked to Lucid about it. They know about this problem and they know how to fix it. And it will be fixed like this week. They were like, if you want to wait an extra day, we can get it sent to the car for the rest of the trip. But I'm like, yeah, it'll just get there when it gets there. I got to get home. And we'll eventually update it. But it's just the most, and I hate to say this, but it's just the most Lucid thing, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, that's a known problem.
Yeah.
It affects a few number of vehicles. Somehow it always affects the ones that we have on test. And we don't have hands-free. At least it does capacitive touch just cruising down the highway, which has been, other than that one issue when it got tired in Colorado, pretty decent. So let's show the hands-free, then how it works, because we did get it operating for a short period of time. No way! Hands-free is on! We'll see how long it lasts, but for now, I'm using it. Dude, that never happens.
The first time on this, you've driven over 1,000 miles by now, right?
Right, so our car has a bug with this. And it's only worked for like 3 miles when Alex was driving it, and then maybe 2 or 3 miles when I drove it.
Okay.
But now it's back on for the third time in our, how long have we had this car for? 1,685 miles.
Already.
But hands-free is working.
Great.
How fast can you go hands-free? 85? 85 hands-free. That was the end of that. No more hands-free. Don't know why. But the fun is over. Bang. That was the most I've ever gotten out of it, though. So, and it canceled, obviously, randomly after that. The final issue with our steering system, Andreas.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it all centered around steering are our problems?
Yeah, I mean, steering isn't important. It's, it just...
When the roads in America are straight.
Exactly, yeah.
This one is actually frustrating. And it makes you feel like you're driving like a $12,000 Lada or something.
Yeah.
The steering system is a great system. It has a really good weight to it. We have the active rear steer. The car drives really well when you're driving it manually. However, when you're in lane centering, the manual or hands-free, whichever, because we've now got it to do it both. If you hit a bump on the highway, and I mean like almost any bump on the highway, it sends a shock wave through the whole rack and it freaks out the steering motor. Like the whole steering rack starts to vibrate like you're hitting rumble strips. So you're driving down the road and the wheel just goes and the whole car is like, whoa. Thankfully, you don't actually feel much movement in the car, but you can watch the wheel move. And it sounds like the dash is going to rattle itself out because the steering motor is really strong in this thing. And it's just like a super high frequency oscillation of the motor. And you're just going cruising nice and silent in your $100,000 Gravity down the road. And then you hit a bump and then Again, it's a known issue that affects a very limited number of gravities.
And we have a clip of that as well, right, Carl?
Yeah, let's insert. I've got a couple clips. I'll see what I can find, but I think we took one today, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's throw in the one we took today.
Okay.
So we're currently experiencing our steering wheel oscillation. If I put some effort into it, it gets worse. You hear that? And then, now it's cleared. You just kind of have to get it right,
Just normal things?
and then it will stop trying to tear itself out of the steering rack.
Yeah.
But hands-free is working still, which is... So there's something just so unpremium about driving down the road, and then you hit a bump, and you've got to like fight the steering system. There's two ways to let it go away. The first is wait for a corner to come up where it self-corrects itself by putting its own force on the rack, or by you taking it out of lane centering, kind of taking you out of the lane and back in, which makes you look like a drunk driver, and that cures it. And it happens so frequently that you might actually get called in for drunk driving, because you'll hit a bump, you get this steering wheel vibration, and you got to pull it out of lane centering, pops out, and then you get it locked back in. They're not going to happen every 2 miles or mile. Like, especially on the roads in the LA area when there's a lot of bumps, like on 405. I should say the 405, excuse me. Yeah, dude, it was just constantly going. And at one point I just got frustrated and let it see how long it could, sit there and wiggle for. It was a long time. Like, it was not stopping. So that's another problem we have. And again, Lucid thinks that there's some issue with, I don't know exactly what the issue is, but when we were talking to them this morning about it, they're like, well, we might want to put a whole new steering rack in your car. And I'm like, what? This is a brand new car that was prepped for us. Like, it shouldn't be doing that. Of course, they feel it shouldn't be doing that. They want to get it fixed because they want us to showcase the car in the best possible way. And if I, did own this car, of course, I'd be bringing it to the service center and having them fix it. We're just going to bring that experience along with you guys. So again, a big improvement from before, a very overall positive experience, but not without faults in our first 1,500 or 1,600 miles so far.
No faults. No faults.
Some faults. Let's tell everyone the efficiency. I'm going to take a look. What do you think our miles per kilowatt hour has been since we picked up the car and then since we drove it here on this road trip? Because I've got 2 trips in there.
Oh, wait, so you mean...
From Lucid headquarters all the way to here.
Okay. Oh, it's a total, and then...
So basically our trip B.
Okay. I mean, Lucids are known for being very efficient.
Yep.
I would say it's probably less.
1,734 miles.
Okay.
We used 594.8 kilowatt hours.
I can do the math now.
Yep, 2.91 miles per kilowatt hour. But we're at a mile above sea level.
Yeah.
Right? And I've left the air conditioning on pretty much nonstop since we've had the dog.
True, yeah.
And we have the rear air on, which adds a lot more too.
Yeah, a lot of...
But almost 3 miles per kilowatt hour doesn't seem bad to me for such a roomy SUV.
The Air did better, right? I mean, the Air is a different shape and everything.
But we didn't, you could never compare the drive cycles.
No, that's true. So 3 miles per kilowatt hour almost.
However, on our trip from California to here, 1,086 miles, because again, the rest was done just driving around California. So 1,000 miles in on the trip. This is basically 1,000 miles that I've been driving the car because Alex drove it out there for a little bit. 2.86 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay, 2.86.
But again, we're at much higher elevation. We're going to end back at sea level. You could never say that that's the efficiency of the car. We'll do our own efficiency testing.
It's going to be interesting on your second leg out east.
Just depends on wind. I have no idea what we're up against.
Yeah, sometimes Kansas is...
Yes, you get hit with a big headwind.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but typically going east, you'll get tailwind.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, I actually think that's very efficient considering how we've been using the car and driving the car. Almost 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour on both, trip computers. Considering we went to Aspen, I've been leaving it in dog mode the whole time. I've been not really ripping on. I've been driving gently, and so, but on the highway, like all through Utah, it was just pegged at the max speed you can go on lane centering, which is 90 indicated. I mean, the speed limits are way the heck up there. But, I just hammered it through the desert. I have not been trying to be efficient because we are in no, with the dog, we're in no rush. We're just going, with the flow. And we charge up way longer than we need to. So I don't really have to worry about driving slow to extend the range or anything. I actually think that's pretty good. You don't seem as impressed as I am.
No, I was just doing some math in my head, but actually, I was expecting more. I don't know. I Lucid always associate with almost close to 4 miles per kilowatt hour for some reason. But, maybe I misremember.
Think about it. We've started at sea level. We're all the way up
true.
here.
Yeah,
It's been triple digits the whole time. The AC's been ripping, although that isn't the worst case scenario. The warmer, the better, typically, actually.
I mean, what's that in watt hours per mile? Like 350, 370?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay, yeah.
It's a big car.
It's a big car, yeah.
I actually think that's pretty good. And again, I know how I've been driving it, so maybe you don't have that. But I mean, I've been sitting on the highway boogieing most of the time. So that's, I think, pretty good efficiency from my perspective. What I'm not enjoying is this. I'm just putting my hand on this panel right here, and I just feel huge deflection when I just rest up on the car.
Oh.
That doesn't feel good. This piece back here has been driving me nuts because I've been standing while I'm charging, whatever, I'll plug in. This one in particular. I like plug in and then I look over here and I'm like, that doesn't line up totally right. And then you look at all the movement you can have on this thing. But see that?
Yeah.
You can play it kind of like a banjo.
Yeah.
We also paid extra. Well, Lucid paid extra, but I spec'd it with the nice, whatever, platinum
So
applique that is.
Is this the same material? Yeah, it is, right?
I think so.
There's just, like, this seems very solid, and on there, there's so much play.
Yeah, but I'm watching the whole plastic molding buckle in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just little stuff. But then you go for the handles, and like they do work now. I haven't had an issue, but they just don't feel very high quality. Like just having a handle that can move that much.
Yeah.
Like give me that good, I'm trying to think like our Audi e-tron.
Oh, yeah.
Bank vault.
Yeah.
Kills aero, of course, but
Yeah.
anyway, the overall impression is very positive. So much so, Andreas, that I've been raving about the new Porsche Cayenne recently. You experienced it as well? Yeah. And I've been saying that car is just great. Actually charges better than this. Similar-ish efficiency. I'd love to run them side by side. It's a much smaller car. And I've been raving about the Cayenne, especially the turbo with active ride. When I drive the Cayenne, I go, clearly this is the one I would pick if I had all the money in the world for an electric SUV, and I would spec it crazy. But then I get into the Gravity and I go, ooh, this is such a better deal, because this is the same price as like the base Cayenne. It's got 800 and something horsepower, which I haven't even been able to use because we've had little guy with us. And I'm like, man, the steering is great. The chassis is great. I actually kind of like the infotainment system layout a little bit better in this than the Cayenne. That can do more than this car can, but this just feels a little simpler, a little more, what's the term in a house when you have like not much in there?
I'm just throwing out feng shui or something? Or is
No,
it totally
like a modern house, a minimalist house.
Minimalist, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a minimalist interior where the Porsche is kind of complicated to use.
Yeah.
And I think this is the car I would go for when I drive this one at least.
I have the same opinion, but I mean the Cayenne, it's a bit overwhelming. Again, all the buttons, and some people liked it. It's also Porsche.
Yeah.
So.
And I love the Cayenne.
Yeah.
But I really like this car. Like I'm so happy to get back in this car and keep driving, which is something I could never say about the Air.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I just love sitting in this car, get the massage seat on, the cooled seat, hit the lane centering, even with the hands on the wheel, and we can go all day, no problem.
Yeah, seating position is nice. It's not too high, not too low. It's just right.
It does so much less to annoy you than any other Lucid I've been in. Even with the weird driver assistance problems, it's a huge step forward from any product I've tested from them in the past. That's not to say it's perfect. They still have a little bit of work to do, but I feel like they're close. Couple big requests. Digital key is coming soon. So they showed me a prototype of it working. I want my phone to be a key for a car. It's 2026. That's basic.
Yeah.
It needs to do that. It doesn't do that. It'll come soon, they claim. I want to be able to separate drive modes out to give me full power and squishy suspension. They still don't allow you to do that. They keep telling me it's coming. Hasn't come. It's annoying.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and I don't like the idea of grouping in all of the settings into 3 main drive modes. I would much rather, pick and choose. It takes a lot of tuning time to do that, but it's a premium product. You would expect that to happen. And it just cruises down the highway. I really enjoy the car. until I look at like this angle and I can stick my finger like in here underneath the front. The build quality may not be as good as, I think that's how it's supposed to be. Andres had to step away, but I was just saying it's not a particularly amazing looking car on these wheels, but I can't wait till we get it on the big boys and it'll just look so awesome. So with that said, that's 1,500 miles or so with the new Lucid Gravity. So much more to come. Can't wait to bring you through our servicing experience, figure out how to get all the driver assistance dialed in, bring you through the software updates to come, and just keep you guys updated on how the rest of the trip comes. We're filming the full road trip video over on Out of Spec Motoring. Say goodbye to the hub. This will probably be the last time everyone sees it.
Sad.
And we are off to North Carolina. So thanks y'all for watching. Thanks for helping to film this one.
Of course.
And thanks to Lucid for providing the Gravity for this cross-country trip. With Oslo, I guess we should all leave it off on the cutest thing in the world, which is, hi dude. He's got these wild looking eyebrows. Oh, you are so sweet. Back to bed. It's been a busy few days for a little pup. See you guys later. Bye-bye.